fellow travel warriors. I'm Steve.
And I'm George.
Join us as we unpack the challenges, excitement, preparation,
and passion for travel.
Hey, George, what do you know? What's new?
Hey, another week, another episode.
Yeah, I can't wait. Number 3. Only got 2 more, and it was a tough assignment again. I had to go through scrolling through all my photo library to go back in time and cherry pick these top luxury hotel stays. But you know what? I am going to pass it on to you. I want you to start first on this episode and tell us about your top number 3 favorite luxury hotel stays.
Number 5, thinking back, number 5 was the Waldorf Astoria Resort in Puerto Rico. Number 4 was the Hilton Hotel in Venice. And my number 3 is the InterContinental Fiji Golf Resort and Spa.
Wow.
Yeah,
that sounds nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. We were there in August of 2019. And Steve, if you remember, it was part of a pretty big trip Zoraida and I took. It was our trip to Australia and to Fiji. Okay. It was a 4-week trip.
Right.
Yep, it was a 4-week trip. We started out in Sydney first. And from there, we went to Cairns. From there, we went to the Whitsundays. From there, we went to Brisbane. And after Brisbane, we flew to Fiji. And once we got to Fiji, we landed in the city of Nadi. We spent a few days in the Mamanuca Islands at the Beachcomber Resort. And then from there, we went north to the Yasawa Islands and stayed the Coconut Beach Resort. From there, we ended our trip coming back down to Nadi. We took a taxi further down the southwest coast of Fiji to the InterContinental. And that's where we stayed our final, believe 3 nights on the island before we came home. It was a great experience. The whole trip was fantastic. And to end it at that resort was pretty special. So that resort, it opened in it opened in May of 2009. Okay. So we were there 10 years after it opened. It's located on the stunning Natadola Bay, which is one of the best beaches in Fiji. It is a 5-star resort. That's your favorite, right? Anything that's 5-star. And it's set on 35 acres. As you would say, tropical gardens with breathtaking ocean views. I'm channeling my inner Stevie. So yeah, it's a beautiful resort. No doubt about it. I think we used reward points through IHG, and it was about 30,000 points back in August of 2019. It wasn't that expensive at all.
That's crazy.
And again, on the website, it looks good, but you're thinking 30,000 points a night. That's probably not that great, or maybe needs some upgrades. And then we got there and it was so nice. We just relaxed from all the going we did for 3.5 weeks. It was nice to go somewhere and just relax. And we did that, either relaxed in the room, we relaxed by the pool, we relaxed by the beach. So it does have some of the highlights of the hotel. It does have 266 rooms and suites. It has, of course, dining. It has 4 restaurants on the premises. You can go to for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. Typical of resorts. They have a world-class championship golf course, which was designed by Vijay Singh, which it was a professional golfer on the PGA Tour for many years, at least back in the 90s and early 2000s. He is from Fiji. One of the other things, it does have a spa. Of course, it has all the water sports, snorkeling, scuba diving, kayaking, all those things that you would expect in a resort right there in the by the water. I'm trying to think. The room itself, We did have I think regular king room, for 30,000 points a night. We did have that. I think it was on the second floor. Again, I'll post a link to all the pictures we took. We were pretty close to the pool. I mean, we could see the pool from our balcony, and then pretty close to the ocean. And then there was sort of like what do you call it, like a river or a stream that was kind of towards the left of our room. If we walked out of our room to the left, there was sort of a separate kind of body of water leading out to the ocean, which made it really, really nice. So that, and it's won a bunch of awards. It's on their website. It seems to be their awards are getting better and better, so to speak. So I looked at it; they won a bunch of awards in 2023. Top resort in Fiji, or top beaches, top hotels in the Oceania area. It's a pretty nice resort, and it's located about an hour's drive, again, south of Nandi. So it's not too far, not too far from that city.
Well, you mentioned a lot of amenities, a lot of water sports that you could partake in. So, can you tell me, did you use the spa? Did you do any of the water sports? Give me some activities that you guys recall doing at the resort.
It's going to sound so lame, but we hardly did anything. We, I mean,
Come
we were
on.
so, well, we were so tired from, I
Yeah,
mean, think about it. We spent a week in Sydney.
right.
We spent a week in Cairns. We did we snorkeled, or we scuba dived the Great Barrier Reef. Again, we spent 4 days in the Whitsundays, which is a very nice area between Cairns and Brisbane. We took a helicopter ride out that overlooked Hart Reef and the Great Barrier Reef. And then just getting to Fiji, we stayed at two other resorts. So by the time we got to the InterContinental, we were just so tired. We knew we had a 10-hour flight in a couple of days,
Right.
going back to LA, and then from LA back to Oklahoma. So we just chilled out. We just, like I said before, we just were by the pool, hung out in the hotel room at night,
Yes.
ate there at the resort. We didn't go anywhere. We just stayed right there. So for any type of snorkeling, scuba diving, kayaking, any of those things, we didn't do anything. We took a lot of pictures. I walked around the resort. Again, it's on 35 acres, so I did walk around the resort to check out, the property. Any of those activities, I didn't do, or we didn't do.
Well, you know
So
what, George? It sounds like still an amazing place to go to. Tell me about how some of the other things that you and I are particularly tuned in on when we stay at hotels, did it match up? In other words, did the food, at least, I know that you didn't really do a lot of activities, but did the service, did the food, did it match up with that 5 star? Because sometimes, as you know, you could stay in a 5 star hotel, but your experience may be 3 stars, 3.5 stars. Okay. So did everything match up to the level of the 5 star award?
it did. It did. And the other way I look at it, again, is always kind of points based too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for 30,000 points, without doing a deep dive in the resort, because I kind of want to experience without reading reviews and without doing a ton of research. I just want it for myself based on the amount of points per night. And I was blown away. I mean, for 30,000 points a night in 2019 for a five-star resort in Fiji, it's
That's
like
unheard of now.
it's unheard of. And I didn't
Right.
look to see what it was now. Maybe it's 40,000, maybe it's 50,000 points would be great value. Still, for 30,000 points a night at the time, and it exceeded expectations.
It's funny that now in 2024, it would be hard to stay at a Hampton Inn for 30,000 points. You
That's
probably
right.
need 40 to 50. Uh, and again, when you give up a chunk of points just for a couple nights at a place, you're kind of giving away the farm because
Yep.
there are going to be other trips that we've had that conversation about kind of managing that and maybe paying for one night and using points on another, etc. I've stayed at several intercontinentals, never have had a bad experience at any of them. So,
Mm-mm.
uh, any other takeaways, reflections, memories of this that you could share? Anything else?
No, I mean, I'm not a golfer. It would have been nice if I did golf, if my bad shoulders permitted to swing a club. I mean, that is a championship type of course. I've stayed at three different hotels that had um, top level golf courses on it. The Waldorf Astoria in Fajardo, Puerto Rico was one. Zorai and I stayed at a Hilton at the pyramids in Egypt. That had a 18-hole golf course. That hotel didn't make the list because it was in desperate need of an upgrade. But that one had a golf course, and then this one. I would have liked to, if I was a golfer, been able to play it, to use some of the amenities of it. But anyways, I do recommend it. I know getting to Fiji is far away, right? As well
I'm
as
sure.
going to Venice is a long way. In my top, the number 5 was Puerto Rico. Is not as far from the U.S. as those other two, but worth it. If you're planning a vacation to Fiji, definitely check out that uh, InterContinental resort. How about you, Stevie? What's
Well,
your number 3?
it'll be uh, to wrap that portion. It'd be great to see those pictures, the photo link, because I can't recall seeing them, but I'm sure you sent me those pictures when you stayed there, so it'd be nice to see them. Well, if number 5, it was the help me out, George. I did number 5,
Was the hotel, yeah, in
Huntington
San
Hotel in San
Francisco?
Francisco, and this was tough because we could each have competing hotels in the same, in that number 5 space, but you have to, there's got to be a few takeaways that make it go over, overarching over the others. So number 5 was the Huntington Hotel, and I gave a little bit, I set the stage, the backdrop of, why that stay was so special. Then we had number 4, that was what I called the Conrad to Cunard trip, the cross Atlantic crossing, staying at the beautiful Conrad Hotel in New York, Lower Manhattan. And then number 3, we go across to the West Coast. We were at the Conrad. Now we go all the way to the West Coast to San Diego. And we're talking about the Fairmont Grand Del Mar, AAA 5-star, Forbes 5-star. So, and I really shouldn't even try to brag about that because, that now there's there's a few 7-star hotels, I believe, in Dubai that neither of us that I know of have been to, uh, may not ever get to in our lifetime, but you never know. Never say never. But the Fairmont Grand Del Mar is actually about 15 minutes from the San Diego airport. Okay. And it's nestled in 400 acres. It's a very European style, Mediterranean style hotel. It's very opulent. Okay. It'll appeal to all the hotel snobs out there. It does have maximum snob appeal. And taking it right off of the page for the Fairmont. Let's see. Let's have a look. Let me describe it as they would describe it to you. Walk amidst a grove of eucalyptus trees and marvel over a waterfall cascading through ancient volcano rock. The Fairmont Grand Del Mar, located on 14 acres along Los Penisquitos Canyon Preserve near Carmel Valley and Torrey Pines. You will be swept away by the nature's majestic beauty. Breathe deeply. Take a deep breath. Dream wildly and discover a soulful sanctuary just 5 miles from the beach where you're finding yourself comes naturally. This place, George, I'm telling you, it's every bit of the credential that it's earned. So, for instance, it has a private golf course designed by Tom Fazio. It has, in California, there's 7 three-star Michelin restaurants. The Fairmont Grand Del Mar has one of those 7, and that's called Addison. Okay, and you can look at some YouTube videos on it and all this kind of thing, and you'll see the chef. It has, of course, the spa. It has all kind of spa treatments you can get. It has a state of the art fitness room. And what is a state of the art fitness room when you're talking this level? Well, it's usual and customary from my experience. It's going to be outfitted with techno gym equipment. This is really high-end equipment made in Italy. That they have that. There's a lot of weddings here. There's a lot of beautiful summer concerts. I mean, it's just nestled in such a beautiful place. Golf course, horseback riding, afternoon tea. What more could you want? And one of the things that one word I would use to describe that is common with some of my maybe half a dozen luxury hotel stays. The one word that describes what you get from staying in some of these is tranquility.
Nice.
When I look at some of these, the Huntington, the Conrad, the Fairmont Del Mar, and I won't mention the number 2 and number 1, they all have that in common. They're going to give you that space, that feeling of harmony, tranquility, and that in itself, like you said, you didn't really venture out. You stayed in the resort. Well, in those properties that I've stayed in, same thing. You don't have to really leave because you're at peace.
Mm-hmm.
You have fine food, the gym, you have the spa, you might have hiking trails, meditation, you know. So I got to tell you, arguably, this could have been in the top, in the number 2, number 1 spot. I mean, it would have been a photo finish. But I have my other personal reasons why I have a number 2 and I have a number 1. Uh, and I've stayed, I think, I've stayed at 3 Fairmont hotels. Of course, the Holy Grail Fairmont property for me is the Fairmont San Francisco atop of Nob Hill, where I have a lot of memories. I had my high school junior prom there. And so that is a place I have not stayed at. Of course, I've stayed at the Huntington and the InterContinental Mark Hopkins. So that is on my bucket list, and I hope to stay there on a special occasion, maybe Valentine's or Blue Angels weekend or something like that. So I'm looking forward to that. But this Fairmont is just spectacular, and it as far as the service, the food, everything matched up. Everything matched up. There's
Good.
nothing I could say that could have been better. Every request was followed up on. That's what you get. But some of that you're paying for, right? I don't know what this 2024 from 2019. I don't know what it would cost to stay there now. Probably at least $1,000. On a big holiday weekend, probably 1,500. Who knows? It's gone crazy. But that's my number 3, and we were there to celebrate my birthday, so
I was
that's
going to
why
ask. I
yeah,
was going to ask you that the reason why you were there.
that was 2019, my birthday, and actually, I think we spent 2 nights there, and then we had dinner with my cousin and her back then was her boyfriend, now her husband. So we actually stayed at the InterContinental downtown San Diego. I think our last night that we were there on that trip. And that was a spectacular hotel too, with the rooftop bar. Just everything was excellent, but it didn't make the cut. It didn't make number 3. Fairmont Grand Del Mar is made that pick. So it made it. I don't have anything else that I can recall from that resort because it's like it was a perfect stay. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like I said, when you're in some of these kind of properties, like the one that you were at in Fiji, just being in the room is restorative. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I know that my favorite cruise line, and my wife and Shar, of course, because we got married on the Princess Island ship, and they had a couple years ago a little tagline, and it said, "Princess Cruises, come back new."
Mm-hmm. I remember
That's what
that.
you get. Come back new. And that's the feeling that it's a very, very spot on description of when you come back from one of those hotels where you stayed a couple nights and you've just kind of just hung out and relaxed. So that's it on that one.
Sounds exciting. I can't wait for your number 2 and your number 1.
That's going to be good too. Number two, let's see. Yeah, that one. Number two is a heavy hitter. For
Oh yeah,
sure. Number two and number one, man, those two are well, let's just say this. From number one to number five, I would love to stay there again. Love to. Love
yeah.
to, you
Me
know.
too. Me too.
So anything else before we sign off?
Nope. I think that was some great information. I loved both of our hotels, and I
Yes,
think that's a wrap for this
that's a
episode.
wrap. Well, thank you for joining us and join our ever-growing community of travel warriors, and let's continue this journey together.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay updated on our latest episodes. Until next time, safe travels.